So this presentation is advice for mobile developers, and I'm Christelle Scharff. I'm the chair of the computer science department here at Pace University. I'm also an associate professor, computer scientist, developer of mobile apps, and entrepreneur. So in this short presentation, I will talk about what we are doing at Pace in mobile, but also I will talk about some of my work in Africa. And then I will give, based on my experience, some advice for mobile developers and entrepreneurs. So at Pace, we have been teaching and doing research on mobile computing and mobile technology since 2008. And in 2008, the landscape was very different. In 2008, we were teaching, in fact, Java ME, which is not the case, of course, anymore today. So the courses that we offer at Pace are right now mobile web and content, mobile app development, mobile innovation for global challenges, and mobile is a big part in the software engineering course, which is an undergraduate course. And for example, in this course, students from different countries in the world are developing mobile apps together. We are very happy also to announce that at some point we'll have some other courses like mobile health in collaboration with the Department of Health Professionals here at Pace. In terms of research, I've been looking at what tools and process should be used by distributed teams to develop mobile apps. I focus also on mobile learning in resource-limited settings like how children in developing countries can learn using mobile phone. And I'm currently the chair, one of the chairs of the Mobile for Development conference that will take place in Dakar in April 2014. In terms of research, here at Pace, we also have been looking into wearable technologies. So we have the Google Glass, it's here, and we have the Pebble Watch, for example, for looking at how all these wearable technologies can be used by people to create some great experiences. Some of my work in Africa is presented here. So I was a Fulbright in Senegal in 2012-2013, and I spent 1 year in training students how to develop mobile apps and also doing research on mobile learning. And I created a program called MobileSenegal, which is in fact like a mobile hub that organizes boot camps, courses, competition, field project, training for faculty and industry professionals in Senegal. In the last 5 years, more than 400 developers were trained in this program. We also organize lots of events in Senegal, even if I'm mostly in the US right now, like meetups and Mobile Mondays. If you want more information, you can look on our website. So now I prepared like 13 advice for mobile entrepreneurs based on some experiences I have in developing some apps. So I have some published apps in Android, on Android, so in Google Play, in BlackBerry World, and on Nokia Store. And also I'm giving here some advice also to mobile entrepreneurs. So the first advice is do it and start now. So, I mean, you need to start at some point, and if you have a good idea, just make it happen. In 2008, when I began working in mobile, I thought this was the time, and there will never be another time. And in fact, in 2014, it's still time. So just do it. To be a good mobile developer, mobile entrepreneur, you need to use lots of apps. You need to understand the standard of the platforms. So one of the very important things is use as many apps as possible. If you want to develop an app on for teaching kids how to read, you should download all the app possibles on reading for children, then test them out, understand what are their strengths, their weaknesses, and so on, and build from there. use apps all the time for everything, so that you know what is a good app, what is not a good app. Advice 3, it's hard but hold on. It's not easy to develop mobile apps. There are lots of different technologies. You need to choose which one. You need also to know a little about the hardware, because we are developing for devices that have different specificities. So it requires developing the apps. You need to be patient. It will not be right the first time. So it's hard but hold on. Advice number 4, know your users. You're developing an app for someone, and this someone, you have to know who it is. You have to know what they like, what they do, how they will use your app, and so on. In general, mobile apps, it's not only the app, it's not only because it's for a mobile device, but also the user in mobile. So you need to think about this. So know your users very well. That's a principle in any kind of software development, so it's always true, and it's also true for mobile app. Advice 5, it's still software development. So there's still a phase on requirement gathering and analysis, a phase of design, implementation, testing, and maintenance. You will design your app, you will code it, you need to know what it is, so the requirement phase, and you will need to test it, and I will come back on one of the advices on testing. And your app will evolve, so don't forget about the maintenance of your app. So it's still software development. It's a software you're developing, it's just called a mobile app. Advice 6, be focused. An app does 1, 2, 3 things, but it does not do 10 things at the same time. So you have to choose what does it do. The best example is WhatsApp. It does one thing, it does it very well, instant messaging. So be very focused when you're developing a mobile app. In terms of the design phase, yes, prototype and get feedback early. Prototyping, so there are some tools you can use to prototype, but also you can just use pen and paper or cards, like it's here on this slide. Prototype and get feedback. The feedback is very important. You want people to help you decide, is it a good idea, it's not a good idea, or can you improve your design, and so on, so on. So prototype and get feedback early. Advice 8 is provide unique experiences. Well, first of all, there are like lots of different apps in the store. There are millions of them. Why would the user choose yours? And then most of them are free. And you want them also to come back to use your app. So retention is very important. So you really have to look into providing great user experiences. It has to look good, but also like the interaction with the user has to be great. If the first thing you have to do when you download an app is create an account with a login and a password, this is already like something that prevents you from even using the app directly. So think about this. Think about your user who is moving and the user who you need to convince very quickly. So advice number 9, test and retest on devices. There are so many devices. There are tablets, there are tablets, there are mobile phones, and so on. So they all come with different sizes, with different resolution, with different computing powers, etc. So you need really to test on the real device. So it's not the same thing as testing on the emulator. If you do not have access to so many devices, which most of us do not have, you can always ask your friends to test the app for you. There are also sites online you can use to get some feedbacks on your apps. So it's very important, and you will see that when you're developing mobile apps, in fact, it takes a long time. Testing takes a long time. It takes even more time to test and to customize your app with respect to a set of devices than just developing. So testing, lots of the time, takes more time than just development. Advice 10, choose a team with different talents. So as a mobile entrepreneur, you should not be alone, and you should have a team with different expertise. The app requires like art to be developed, for example. It requires people to do the marketing, people to do the development. So different talents are really required to be more successful. Advice 11, know the business. When you're developing a mobile app, for example, for health, you better talk with experts. So you need to have this team of people who knows different things, but also who know the business that you're targeting. Advice 12, market your app. That's very important, of course. So you need to tell people you have an app, it exists. Of course, there are social networks. Sometimes what can be very important in your app is just, it can be the logo that will attract people. Some people, they blog about their apps, they are using, of course, social networking and so on, so on. But it's very important to invest in marketing your app. And the last advice number 13, is go out there and network. That's also part of the marketing. There's lots of communities around mobile. There are meetups. There's Mobile Monday in lots of cities around the world. Here also in New York, and there are also hackathon. Almost every week in New York, you have a hackathon where you go and you can develop a mobile app with other people who have the same interest as you. So it's very important. So just go out there, talk about your app, network, and something good can happen from there. So this is just a summary of all my personal advice for what it was. So 1, do it and start now. 2, use apps, 3, it's hard but hold on. 4, know your users. 5, it's still software development. 6, be focused. 7, prototype and get feedback early. 8, provide unique experiences for users. 10, choose a team with different talents. 11, know the business. 12, market your app. 13, go out there and network. So it was the 13 advice, so 13 was a good number. So I'm Christelle Scharff from Pace University. Thank you.